Let's talk about the Lexus LFA and its future successor. Now, we all know the Lexus LFA. It was a legendary car. It was a car made by Lexus, a supercar made by Lexus, and they completely nailed it. It was an incredible car. They put a lot of work into it. It had great engineering behind it. It looked great, and it sounded incredible. It sounded really awesome. It was a really addictive sound. And yeah, well, that car came out. How long has it been now? I think it might be a decade or so. But anyway, the car needs a successor now. And there is a concept car that Lexus has, which might be the successor to the LFA. Now, I don't think there's any specific label on it yet, but or whether it will actually call the LFA or maybe something else. But yeah, this has a high possibility of being the Lexus successor, and it's an electric. Well, I guess that was inevitable, but still, Toyota going with the electric is kind of surprising, in considering that they seem to be more focused on hybrids than electric cars. They're more interested in making hybrids, so the fact that their next supercar is going to be an electric, it's a bit disappointing, I guess, but they have to move into the future. So I guess they don't have. It's understandable, but whatever. Now, as far as the looks of the car go, well, it's a concept car, so I guess the design could change, but still the looks seem good. It seems a little tame, I guess, but then again, the Lexus LFA wasn't that insane looking. It had a good design, and considering that this might be the successor to the LFA, a tame design isn't really a bad thing. But it's a modern design, don't get me wrong. It's a good design, but it isn't a wild design like the hypercars that we're seeing. Well, not the Trinity, but still. Seems like an interesting design. And it's, from what I saw, it seems really low to the ground. No, maybe that's just me thinking that from the video, but whatever. It looks good. And the specs aren't really out yet. They're not specifying anything, probably because it's a concept. But it's highly likely. It seems highly likely that it's gonna have 1,000 horsepower, because if it's an electric supercar, it has to have 1,000 horsepower. You cannot go lower than that. This is a successor to the LFA. It needs power, and apparently it might have over 400 miles of range. Now, I know 1,000 horsepower car having a supercar having 400 miles of range doesn't make sense, because it's going to take a lot of power from the batteries. But apparently Toyota is working on a new type of solid state battery tech that could potentially bring out more power, could charge really quickly, and I don't know, overall a better type of battery. And apparently this battery could produce these numbers. I mean, if 1,000 plus horsepower supercar can do 400 miles, or at least 400 miles on a single charge, that's a huge deal. I mean, that could probably come in line with the fuel you get from an ICE engine. And if it does charge as quickly as they're saying they could, and that's a huge deal. And we're already seeing supercharger technologies coming from BYD, so maybe it's possible, because this car's coming out in a few years. I think it's gonna be at least a couple of years before this car might actually come out. But yeah, so yeah, it has the specs to back it up. But there is one thing that I'm actually really excited about. Now, they're saying that this car might have a manual transmission. Now, that doesn't really make sense, because it's an electric car, it has a motor, it doesn't need a manual transmission. I mean, it's the way electric motors work. But apparently they're gonna focus on bringing in a manual transmission, because that's what the people want. And yes, it's true, people like manual transmissions, but putting an electric car with a manual transmission, that didn't seem like something that was actually doable, because I don't know, it seemed inconvenient because it doesn't need it. But apparently Toyota's trying to bring it, or I should say Lexus is trying to bring a manual transmission. And they're saying that the younger buyers, the newer generation of buyers, they like manual transmissions, they like the feel of the car. And electric cars, as I said before, they don't have a feeling or anything, it's just movement, no sound from the engine. And this car probably won't have any sound either, since it's an electric motor, but they're saying that a manual transmission would somehow manage to at least please some aspect of the love that people have for the ICE engines with the manual transmission, and it would be more engaging, honestly. I mean, a lower gear with less power, higher gears, the power increases. That would be nice and exciting. Plus, you won't have to worry about accidentally flooring it and it just going out of control, because these electric cars, even in their lowest mode, it's a 1,000 horsepower car has a lot of power and it might get away from you. So if a lower gear has a limited number of horsepower, that would make sense. And hopefully Lexus does bring this. Now all this is in the concept so far, so we don't know what is actually going to come at that point, but it seems like they are interested in putting a manual transmission in the car, if not anything else, to make the people buying this thing actually love to drive it or want to drive it. So yeah, I'm honestly a little excited about that. I mean, electric transmission, it could work, it could make sense. Now the engine sound, there doesn't seem to be any way around that for the moment, but still, this is seems like a right step for enthusiast drivers' satisfaction. But let's wait and see when this car comes out and what it's actually going to be called. That's going to be interesting too, because the LFA is a nice name. Is it going to be another a name like that, or a new name? I don't know. But let's wait and see.